show reporting today. Thank you much. All right. Here you go, Wendell. Nice to see you. We get us off to a fast start. We have got as our first guest a party who specializes in parties, life at the party type, specializes, I am told, in birthday parties. We'll learn more about that as soon as we meet our blooming young panel here on To Tell the Truth. Hey,
Peggy Cash. Bill Curran. Kitty Carlisle. And Nipsey Russell.
well, I tell you. You all ready to whoop it up, folks?
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
You like big parties and like that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, everybody grows up with the ambition to be the life of the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, let us now meet our life of the party.
Wow, down, down.
When did it stop being a family show?
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Brandy.
Number 2.
My name is Brandy.
Number 3.
My name is Brandy.
And welcome to the Male Chauvinist Pig Show. We have 3 young ladies over there. They say they're Brandy. Let's listen to her story and see what we think. It says, I, Brandy, pop out of birthday cakes in my birthday suit. No matter how you slice it, I am the pièce de résistance at swinging birthday gatherings around town. Yes, at chic restaurants or palatial private homes, my appearance really turns people on. Now, popping out of a cake is no cakewalk. You have to scrunch down inside for 2 or 3 minutes while the happy birthday song is being sung. Then you blast up and out in all of your eye-popping splendor. By the way, I've also been on display at other historic occasions. For instance, I have popped out of a king-size candle as well as a gigantic hamburger box. Signed, Brandy.
Well.
Sinclair Lewis would be amazed to find that these things still go on. We'll be right back.
All this week, have breakfast with Buzzer. Starting off with a plate of hot deals.
$1.
A big bowl of consonants. Mix in a side of Monty.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Split Second.
And finish it off with a lot of caffeine. Breakfast with Buzzer. Today, starting at 9. It's the most important TV of the day.
She pops out of king-size birthday cakes, and we'll start the questioning, please, with Mr. Nipsey Russell.
Gary, do they just pop out of birthday cakes, or could they jump out of a pot of black-eyed peas at a soul food dinner? Number 2, how are your services obtained? Do you work through an agency that books this as theatrical performers, or what?
I work through my manager, and also I can be found through the radio stations and TV stations and newspapers and so forth.
Thank you. Number 3, after one pops out of a cake, what does one do? Remain there to do some kind of performance?
No, what I usually do is give the man, if it's a birthday party, a big kiss and a hug and chit-chat and gracefully make my exit.
I see. Number 1, what age bracket usually requires this service? At what types of birthday parties do you perform?
Well, I would say the most common was the 40-year-old birthday.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
That's the DOM group.
Yes. What does that mean?
Soiled elderly gentlemen.
Oh!
Let's go down to Peggy.
Number 2, are you ever employed for, like, bar mitzvahs or Knights of Columbus dinners and things like that? Number 2?
Not as yet, although, golf tournament dinners, things like that.
That's nice. What do you pop out of there, a golf bag?
Golf ball. Golf ball. A giant one.
I see. Now, number 1, where exactly is it that you pop? I mean, in what city?
Well, it's in the San Francisco Bay Area. It isn't just exclusive to one city. It's the entire...
Well, now, number 3, where is it that you do your line of work?
I'm sorry the buzzer takes us on the bill column.
I'm going to go right along with that question, thank you. But number 3, where is it that you do your popping out of?
Chicago.
Number 2, what happens, for instance, if on your way out you get a little icing on you or something like that? Which, I mean, is there a towel standing by? I do understand this. You do this au naturel, is that right?
Absolutely.
Don't worry about the icing then, number 2. Number 1, when I reach my 40th year on this earth,
You and me, Bill.
nicing on all of you. How much would it cost me, number 1, to engage your services to pop out of my cake?
In what city?
Anywhere you are, number 1. You pop and I'll be there.
All right, if you'll be there, it'll be $35.
Good. Yeah, oh, wait a minute.
My second question wasn't going to be admitted anyways.
Number 3, you say that you gracefully make your exit. How does one do that, stark naked in a room full of all dressed up people? Does someone give you a cloak or what?
No, I just say little things like happy birthday and little giggle a little and flirt with the men and gracefully make my exit.
Yeah.
On the way.
Number 2, is your name Brandy because you always come on at the end of the meal?
No, it was just a nickname that somebody gave me.
I see. Number 1, do you do anything else in show business or the theater besides popping out of cakes?
Well, primarily it's popping out of cakes, but I will also dance if they so hire me to.
And there we go. We've got a little bell, and we got big crayons over there in front of the panel. They're going to mark down a number. It's going to be a number 1, or a number 2, or a number... It's a joke. Every time I think about this thing, I laugh. It's a joke about a taxi cab driver who ran over himself. And what happened was that he asked somebody who was crossing the street to mail a letter for him, see? He said, will you mail this letter for me? And the other person said no. So the taxi cab driver ran over himself. This is called I'll be right with you. It's called a Mackenzie audience reaction machine. These are the controls over here. The loudspeakers are over there. That's where the sound emanates from. Now, you can get almost any kind of reaction. You can get something sympathetic, like, let's say, on a quiz program, when a contestant misses an important question. And the MC says, Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, that answer is incorrect. Everybody, isn't that great? All right, and it also can be excited, like, let's say, on a quiz show, when the announcer says, let me get the right one here. No, that's the wrong one. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Now, when the announcer says, answer this question right, Mrs. Jones, and you can win this brand new car. So this little box can replace a studio audience, so you folks watch yourselves out there. All right, now let's meet the man who invented the Mackenzie audience reaction machine.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Louis Mackenzie.
Number 2.
My name is Louis Mackenzie.
Number 3.
My name is Louis Mackenzie.
All right, and here is Louis Mackenzie's story. I will try to supplement it with sound effects as I go along. It says, I, Louis Mackenzie, am the inventor of the Mackenzie audience reaction machine, the device which you have just heard wildly laughing and uproariously applauding. In television, this electronic augmentation is known as sweetening the audience reaction. However, the Mackenzie machine can also be used to reproduce any special kind of sound in the world. For instance, would you like to hear a thunderstorm? Push.
That's great.
And the thunderstorm is over, and it has awakened the animals in the jungle.
Yeah, we're back.
Wow.
And if that doesn't scare you, how would you like to spend the night in a haunted house?
Ooh.
Enough of that. The statement continues to say the Mackenzie machine is not only used for television, but in movies and at museums, at airports, and amusement parks. Interestingly enough, I did not originally plan the Mackenzie machine for use by the entertainment industry. It was developed by the U.S. Navy to aid in the training of sonar operations. Signed, Louis Mackenzie. And let's start this one, I think, with Mr. Bill Cullen.
This entire show is the answer to my constant dream. Because I can sit at home with the last two things we've done here, and I can have a girl to pop out of my cake and thousands of people to appreciate me. Just sensational.
I think you can make all the noise alone if the girl pops out of your cake.
Be some noise that machine hasn't heard yet, I'll tell you. Number 2, where is your base of operations?
In California.
Number 3, is this primarily utilizing audio tape as we know it?
That's correct.
Number 1, are these machines for sale?
Yes.
Number 2, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
They can be purchased and used to help shows like this one and any one we're connected with.
Very definitely.
Number 3, is it a very expensive proposition to, for instance, how much would it cost to sweeten a half-hour program and make the audience sound sensational? How much would that cost to produce?
Well, the 2 units you see in front of you are $6,000.
Oh, we'll never get that here. No, we're going to have the same sick laughter you just heard. Number 2, what are some of the shows you do work on, if you're permitted to say?
We've done the Johnny Carson show. Most of the shows that we have used the machine on are in places like Disneyland, Rocky Point, SeaWorld, places like that.
Places where people are entertained live.
And that takes us, please, to Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. I must tell you, Mr. Mackenzie, whoever you are, I prefer the laughter of that darling live audience. Number 2, are you a Navy man?
I was in the Marine Corps.
I see. Number 3, does this machine work on reproducing, for instance, you go out and reproduce jungle noises and then just simply record them on this machine, or are these noises all electrically devised?
No, these are all the actual sounds. We don't do the recording, but these are the actual sounds.
Oh, well then why is it so expensive? You could just have a tape of a jungle sound or a thunderstorm or whatever.
Because of the fineness of the equipment, the patents on it.
I see. Number 1, what do you do at airports and at museums?
Well, at museums, we're interested in sound effects for exhibitry, basically. At airports, we put out announcements on sidewalks. The area, parking in this area is limited to 5 minutes or something like that.
Oh, and number 3,
I'm sorry, that little buzzer, which is of our own device, takes us to Nipsey.
Number 1, there is a rumor in California that the man who invented these machines does not allow them out of his own keeping, and when you rent the services of the machine, you must take the engineer along with it. Have you heard of that, number 1?
There is a class of machine used in the motion picture industry which answers your description.
I see. Number 2, can you distinguish for me between sweetening and using a laugh track?
And using a what, sir?
Laugh track.
A laugh track. Well, on sweetening, that is leveling the sound so that it will meet the conditions which you would like to have it result.
I see. Number 3, do you produce sounds like hisses and boos for obviously pun, low-level jokes?
Well, we don't produce any of the sounds, but we can have them on there for you.
I see. Could one buy those cassettes for use in a machine other than yours?
Yes, you could.
And number 1 again, can you tell me if there's less use for these now that they do these shows in front of live audiences?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer. I don't think I really understand.
I'm talking about many of the top shows now are filmed before a live audience. Does that require less use of this kind of machine?
Well, sweetening is just what its name implies. It augments the audience.
Yes.
Some cases...
Yeah, like if you just get a small laugh and you want to add another one to it, if this works, you go...
I like it.
Number 3, when I see some half-hour comedy shows, situation comedy shows, there seem to be lots of little titters. Are you responsible for those little titters?
Yes, those are added.
I think that they're dumb. I think you should go to the big laughs. Those little titters are very annoying. A big laugh, you're laughing too, so you don't mind. It's just a little advice. Now, number 1, where are the speakers in these machines? I don't see any speakers.
They are not. Actually, the machines are in these brown boxes here, and the speakers are what you hear in the ordinary audio speakers here in this room.
Oh, you're connected up to the regular...
We're connected up through the regular sound system.
Thank you. Number 2, if you want a great deal of crying, gnashing of teeth, do you have that on there too?
We can produce that, yes.
I don't imagine you get many calls for that, though, do you?
There goes our own little bell, and we're going to have to knock it off, friends. We're going to have to mark our ballots. You mark along with us. Do you think it's number 1, or is it number 2, or is it number 3? We're going to find out in just a second. First vote is Nipsey.
Well, number 1 knew about the use of the machine in the motion picture industry, and it is for film rather than for videotape. And number 2 did not seem to know that sweetening meant adding laughter to what was already there. And number 3 said that the machine, he had nothing to do with the production of the sound, so I went with number 1.
All right, we've got a 1, Sean, and Peggy.
Well, I thought all 3 of you agreed, but I think number 1 owns that company, and he's crazy about those machines. I could tell by his attitude. He looks at them fondly.
Well, at his prices, he should, I guess. He got a pair of 1s, and Bill Cullen.
I want to go on record. I'm crazy about that machine, too. I think it's sensational. Number 1 answered all the questions like he had heard them before, like he's been answering those questions hundreds of times, so I voted for number 1.
Well, a certain sense of unanimity creeps over the joint. Kitty?
Well, guess what? I voted for number 1, too.
Yes. Right at this point, may I ask, will the real Louis McKenzie please stand up, sir? Yeah. Good try, gentlemen. There's a certain engineer's jargon that's hard to reproduce, however. Number 2, sir, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Fred Workman, I'm an advertising salesman for the Chicago Tribune and Chicago Today newspapers.
Oh, good. And number 3, sir, tell us about you.
My name is Buddy Bash. I'm a freelance photographer and writer.
Well, now, I'm sure, Mr. McKenzie, when you leave here, the audience is going to give you a hand, but just in case, I'll get them started off as I say thank you, Louis McKenzie, and gentlemen, for being with us on the television. Don't have any false applause. What we have is Bill Wendell in our audience with a black snake whip, and if the audience doesn't applaud, he gets after it. Yeah. So let's hear it, Bill. Take care, friends.
This is Bill Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth. A Mark Goodson, Bill Tuck production.